Welcome back to Facing South Florida. This past week, the most diverse Congress ever was sworn into office. Of the 101 newly elected representatives, more than a third are women. Among them is former University of Miami president and former Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services under President Bill Clinton, Donna Shalala. And she's joining us now from Washington. Congresswoman, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
So you are a freshman in Congress, no denying that, but you have said you are definitely not a rookie. But with that being said, Thursday still technically a first for you as you took your seat in the House of Representatives. And of course, the House wasted no time getting down to work, even holding a couple of votes. What was day one like for you?
Well, it was pretty exciting. There were a number of votes. Of course, we voted to keep the government open. We took exactly the bills that had passed the Senate and took those bills and voted to pass them in the House of Representatives. And so now it's up to the Senate on whether they're going to vote for those bills again. It's up to the president on whether he's prepared to open up the government again. The second thing that happened was this morning, actually, I was elected to the Rules Committee, which is the most powerful committee of the Congress. It controls what gets on the floor, what bills get to be talked about, what bills get to be passed by the majority. And it also gives me the opportunity to make amendments on bills and to help people with their amendments. So it's a very powerful committee that allows me to learn all about the House of Representatives. But more importantly, I get to play on every issue, on health care in particular, but on all the other issues that affect the people in the United States. So I'm very excited about that opportunity that I have gotten from the Democratic caucus.
Going back to your constituents here in South Florida, how do you plan to advocate for the very diverse group of people who live here in your district, particularly those from South America, perhaps the people from Nicaragua trying to extend their temporary protected status, or maybe those from Venezuela looking for a little help themselves? How do you plan to advocate for them in Washington?
Well, I made it clear during the campaign that we want to extend TPS for those who are currently on TPS and add the Venezuelans, and I'm particularly concerned also about the Nicaraguans as well. And I've already indicated to the chairman of the Judiciary Committee that I want to come talk to him and his staff about extending TPS. We'll be working on those bills, and of course everyone in South Florida is concerned about the DACA kids. I wish we could get comprehensive immigration reform, but for people in South Florida, TPS is critical, as is the opportunity for the DACA, those that are covered by DACA, to be able to find a pathway to citizenship, which they deserve. They came here through no fault of their own. They've been good American citizens, and we ought to give them that right to citizenship.
You are filling the seat now vacated by Republican Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, a seat she held for many, many, many years. She's been known for reaching across the aisle. Before you took office, did she reach across the aisle to you and give you any tips on what you need to know to deal with the inner workings of Washington?
She did. And she gave me a Cuban coffee pot to make sure that I continued her tradition of serving Cuban coffee. So anyone that comes to visit will have Cuban coffee available, particularly at 3:05 every day. That will be our signature contribution to visitors. I talked to Ileana yesterday. The first call I made yesterday after I was sworn in is to call Ileana to thank her for her service and to ask her about her shoe size, because I have to fill her shoes. Turns out we actually wear the same size shoe, approximately the same size shoe, but she still has, and I still have, big shoes to fill. But I was happy to talk to her. She's been a good friend for a very long time. She served the people of South Florida brilliantly, and I'm happy that I'm able to at least step into the shoes and the reputation she had for bipartisanship.
As far as advice, any specifics you can give us that she shared with you?
No specifics. She did urge me to reach across the aisle, and yesterday I talked twice to Mario Diaz-Balart, who represents a neighboring district Again, someone who I've known for a very long time, who I've worked with before, and Mario and I have agreed we're going to sit down and figure out some things we can do together. He's ranking on transportation appropriations. We, of course, are very interested in the infrastructure bill, in ways to improve public transportation in South Florida. So we intend to work very closely together.
And Congresswoman, if this shutdown persists, what would you like the people living here in South Florida, those who work for the federal government or who have loved ones who work for the federal government and are dealing with the impacts of either working without pay or being furloughed, what would you like them to know? What's your message to them?
You know, that we're fighting hard for them, that the Democrats in particular are fighting hard for them. And frankly, we got Republican votes yesterday on those bills. There are Republicans that are anxious to reopen the government, but it's people that aren't getting paychecks. And I went through this in 1995. We had 21 days of a shutdown. It was horrible, not just for the people that weren't getting their paychecks and their families, but the community as a whole is affected because those resources are not being spent in our community. The Agriculture Department is going to run out of money for food stamps, the basic social safety net, which thousands of people in our district use for their kids and to make sure they can put food on the table. They're going to run out in early February. These are the most basic things that government provides. So I feel deeply about the federal employees. They did nothing wrong, and we should not be holding them hostage.
A lot of work to be done, so we'll let you get back to it. Congresswoman Shalala, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And up next, how the federal government shutdown could impact air travel and why the flying public should be aware. We'll hear from the president of the local air traffic controllers union when we come back. Stay with us.